Hi again, everyone. Today's video is a general workout. I'd probably call it sort of beginner to intermediate. If any of the exercises are causing you any pain or discomfort, of course, please stop. I'll try to give some sort of simpler, harder versions as we go along. But yeah, work to the level that you're comfortable with. And yeah, let's go through this together. So start with just a mat, lay down for me. No other equipment's required today. So laying on the mat, we're just going to do a couple of stretches to begin. So arms out to the T position and just have a little roll from side to side. We're only going to do 3 of these each way, just to give your back a bit of a stretch before we start. If your back's like mine, there's a few little clunks and clicks as we roll from side to side slowly. And again, just 3 each way. Just having a little stretch. And then as we usually do in our class, I'll just get used to do a little hammy stretch on each side. So we just hold for about 10 seconds, pulling your leg up into the air and feeling that stretch down the back of your leg. And the other side. And then a little glute stretch, so just crossing them over and pulling them up towards you, so you're just feeling the stretch down through the buttock. Again, just 1 each side's okay. Just a little 10-second hold before we begin. Then setting ourselves up on the mat, so just with feet fairly close to your bottom, arms resting down by your side with your knees bent. So to begin with, I just want us to press and tilt the pelvis back and forth slowly 5 times. Just feeling that pressure into the mat and then away from the mat, rocking and rolling your pelvis. After the 5 pelvic tilts, we're going to lift up and down into our bridging. So if we gently squeeze from the tilt and actually come up into the air, and then roll back down into the floor. So the idea with this is that we're articulating or moving through our vertebra, so squeezing our glutes to pick up, and then try to roll back down into the floor. So we're just going to do 5 bridges together. Tilt and lift, this is 3rd, and roll back down. And again, tilt and lift, squeezing the glutes, and roll back down. And 1 more, squeeze and lift, and roll back down. Now, being conscious of our neutral spine position and drawing in low with our tummy muscles, just gently take the legs up to tabletop for me. So the first exercise I want us to do is our tapping. So flexing, so we tap the heel to the floor and then pick it back up to tabletop. Keeping feet flexed, tapping the heel to the floor and lifting it back up to tabletop. So nice and slow, tapping up and down. If this feels a little bit strenuous for you, you can leave 1 foot on the ground and just tap one side up and down 10 times. And then, if not, of course, as we were going, alternate tapping, keeping the other leg up into the air. So just keep on tapping for me, left then right. Think about pulling in your tummy muscles. Think about drawing in your lower stomach muscles towards the floor the whole time. Think about your lower back position, not pressing too hard into the floor, not arching the back up off the floor. So we want to do about 10 of these on each side, nice and slow like me. Slower is harder. Then if we keep both of our legs up in tabletop position, just gently moving our arms over our head, and as we bring them back towards our sides, just doing a little upper abdominal curl. The idea of this is just to lift the head and the shoulders off the ground. Now, if a curl is a bit strenuous on your neck, feel free just to leave your legs in the air and just move through the arms forwards and backwards. If we're able to curl, just lifting the head and shoulders, reaching past our side and coming back down. The idea of these little chest lifts is just to feel the upper abdominal muscles working, the lower tummy muscles are working as you're holding your legs in tabletop. Again, if this is feeling a little bit strenuous, the curl's okay to keep going with our legs down rather than in tabletop. So just coming up slowly and back down. So legs in tabletop if you like, feet rested if you prefer, and if the curling up and down is a little bit strenuous through the neck, you can just be moving your arms forwards and backwards for me and not doing the curl around 10 times. Well done. Grounding the arms, back to our tapping. So again, the easy version is just 1 leg at a time up and down for 10. But for those of you who like to work a bit harder, we're tapping with both legs in the start position of in the air. Alternate sides, thinking about the tummy drawing in, tapping left, tapping right, remembering to flex so that you're tapping your heel and not your toe. feeling the effort in your tummy muscles, feeling the effort in the quads around the front of the legs. Keep on tapping for me. Again, to the easier version if you need to, or staying at this more strenuous version with legs both up in the air. One more on each side, and staying in the knees up position. Take both our hands to one leg. I want you to bring that leg to your chest and stretch your other leg away. How low this leg goes makes the exercise harder, so a little bit higher for those who might find a low leg's too strenuous, but down if you can, nice and close to the floor. And then gently, as we swap the legs over, pull one knee towards us, stretch our other one away. Pull one leg towards us, stretch our other one away. So this is just a slow changeover, left and right. Trying to keep our shoulders relaxed as we pull our knee to our chest. It's tempting to tighten up through those shoulders, strangling ourselves. So relaxing the shoulders and just gently alternating sides, pulling the knee to us as we stretch our other leg away. Still feeling the work through these legs, but of course sucking those tummy muscles in, feeling it in our tummy muscles as well. And we'll go one more on each side. Again, slightly higher leg if dropping too low to the floor feels too strenuous. And then resting back to tabletop position. We take our arms back out to T. I'd now like us to do our rock from side to side with our legs in the air. Keep the knees and feet touching each other when you do this for me. It's okay to lift the hip, keep the shoulder down. Rocking as far as is comfortable, keeping the knees and feet touching, not letting them come apart as we rock. It's okay to lift the hip, as I've already said, but just keeping both those shoulders grounded. This works our side stomach muscles or our obliques. Again, conscious of drawing your tummy muscles in as you go. We're doing about 5 of these to each side. And as usual, I've lost count, so we'll do one more each way. And last one. Well done. We're going to go back into another version of this knee stretching, but this time I want us to grab behind our leg and stretch our leg up as we stretch our other leg away. Now this position is more of a hamstring stretch for the back of the leg. Again, pushing it up into the air, dropping the other one nice and low. And then as we lift and we switch, we want to try and keep our legs straight. So drawing in your tummy muscles, lift and switch, keeping our legs straight. Lift and switch, keeping our legs straight. Of course, it's not a dead straight leg. No one's hammies are that great. So it's okay to have a soft bend, but we're working on feeling that stretch down the back of your leg. So just counting to about 3 each time as we swap over, pulling one up into hamstring stretch, lowering the other one down towards the floor. Again, keep your legs higher if it feels too strenuous. And as we pull on the leg, relaxing our shoulders, so making sure we're not strangling ourselves with our shoulders as we go. 2 more. And gently to rest and letting our feet come back down to the ground. We're going to return now to the tilting and bridging, so just softly rocking forwards and backwards through the pelvis, tilting forwards and back 5 times. Any tension or stress that may have built up during those tabletop knee and leg exercises will be washed away with a bit of tilting. And then turning it into our bridge, so squeezing the glutes to come up into the air again, rolling back down into the floor. Tilt back, squeeze the glutes, come up into the air, roll back down to the floor. Now as we do this squeeze and bridge, obviously height is up to you, don't go too high. Rolling down, we don't want it to have any sort of influence or stress into the back. And bridging too high is actually incorrect because it takes the wrong muscles into the exercise. So we're aiming to come to a flat line, one more together. So as we come up into bridge this time, hold for me. So think about this flat line. We don't want to go too high and have a big arch through our back. So we've got to come back to that sort of feeling of a flat or straight line and pulling our tummy muscles, squeezing our glutes as we're holding it there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then releasing back down to the ground. Now for the next exercises, we're going to hop onto our side. When it comes to our upper body, it's really a matter of personal preference. You can sit with your hand resting under your head, You could reach your arm out, have your arm resting under your head, just staying down flat to the floor though, not propping up for today's program. So staying down against the ground, having the hands or arms supporting the neck, keeping both the legs bent for me. And we're just going to do a clam, gently turning up and down through the knee. The idea with clamming is that we keep our hip on top of the other hip. So we don't want to be rolling back as we rock our knee up. And as we roll up through the knee and keep our hips stacked, you should really get a nice squeeze or isolation of strength work into this buttock around the top of the hip. We're going to do about 10 clams together. And 2 more. Well done. Then keeping the shape but taking the ankles off the ground. Keep clamming for me. This clam's now called a diamond. You can see the change in shape because I'm holding my ankles up off the ground. I'm focusing still on keeping my hips on top of each other. So hip on top of hip. Keeping those ankles up in the air. 4 to go. So again, just for 10. And then come back down to clam. Well done. 10 more of each. So we're going to do a second round. Feel the work, squeeze the glutes, feel that burn, conscious of hip on top of hip, making sure we don't roll back as we're moving our knee. A couple more, and then we've got to do one more set of diamonds for 10. And then taking the ankles up, same thing, it's still the clam motion because we're holding our ankles up into the air. We're getting a different feeling of squeeze and burn, and the bottom leg's now activated as well. We have to really concentrate on this hip on hip position. I said just for 10. One more. Well done. And then rest. Keeping the bottom leg bent, and taking the top leg out to straight. We're just going to do a little set of lift and lowers as well. So for the lift and lowers, what I want us to do is flex as we lift and then point as we lower. So it's just a small ankle motion and point to lower. With these lift and lowers, your leg should be straight out from your body. Don't let it creep forward. So thinking about, again, a straight line. Flex to lift and point to lower. Flex to lift, point to lower. If we're doing it right, again, the work should feel like it's back in the buttock. Flex to lift, point to lower. Well done. Last one, holding up in the air for me. And all we're going to do is flex and point our foot. So again, it's just a little ankle motion, making sure that the leg is straight back. Keep pointing and flexing. Feel that burn through your buttock. Holding your leg as high as you're comfortable to. Watching it doesn't cheat by dragging in front of the body. Keep flexing and pointing. 3 more. 3, 2, 1, and then let it rest. Now if we bring our foot back and hold it, we're going to get a bit of a stretch through this front of the leg and give our buttock a bit of a break. And now, of course, we need to change sides. So get comfortable laying down, hand under head or arm out straight, both legs bent, hip on top of hip, and when we're ready to go, we start with our clamming. So 10 with the clams, keeping those hips nice and balanced, not rolling backwards. Couple more. Then taking the ankles up and turning it into our diamond. So same thing, pushing that same clam motion open, but holding our ankles in the air. So just for 10. Or about that many, as you know, I'm not super strict on numbers. Don't do 50 when I say 10. And we're going to do a second set, so bringing the feet down and clamming again. Just 10 times. And one more lot of diamonds. Feel the burn, feel it squeezing up into these glutes, keeping those hips stacked. We all have a weaker side. This is mine, I can feel it burning. 2 more. Well done, and then bring it down. Then if we keep the bottom leg bent but take the top leg to straight, remembering to keep it back and not let it hang in front of the body. And we're going to flex to lift and point to lower. flex to lift, point to lower. So that little ankle motion, just integrating a few more muscles in the lower limb, point and lower, flex and lift, point and lower, just as high as you're comfortable to, point and lower. Thinking about the hip on top of hip position, keeping that leg back in straight in line with the body, not letting it move in front. A few more. And then you know what's coming, holding the leg in the air to keeping the point and flex. So holding this one up and point and flex for me. Let's go. Point and flex. Feel that burn in the buttock. Don't go too high if it's getting hard to hold the leg, bring it a bit lower. Keep pointing and flexing. 3 to go. 2, 1, and then bring it down. And again, just grab your foot, pull your leg back behind you, give yourself a rest. Good job. Now to finish with, we're just going to hop over onto our all fours. So in the prone position, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. I want you to be on the wrists if it's comfortable to be. Otherwise, you can actually take your weight up into your ankle, onto your knuckles, if you prefer, which gives you a flatter or straighter wrist to hold. So it's really a personal preference where you want to be. In this position of all fours, we're going to start with what we call a Superman or an arm and leg extension. So reaching arm and opposite leg away. Now, if that feels a little bit too challenging, you can just stretch your leg out for me and bring it back rather than the arm as well. The goal of this is to think long, not high. If we go high, it tends to turn our back and sort of change our postural position incorrectly. So just think nice and long as you reach away, and then return and change for the other side. Imagine that you're balancing something here on your lower back, whether that be an expensive glass of wine or a cup of tea, and bring it back. Stretching long, 2, 3, and bringing it back. Well done. Keep alternating sides slowly, just looking straight down at your mat, not up, not down. Again, if reaching the arm feels a bit too strenuous, just stretch through the leg. Again, thinking long, not high, stretching away and bringing it back. We're holding them for about a 3-second count. We're not going too fast. Well done. Keep going again, reaching the arm with the leg if you can. And with the leg if you can. One more on each side. Good work, everybody. And stay in all fours. Now, this time the arms are going to stay grounded. What we're going to do is a little sideways kick through our legs. So the goal is to keep your knee bent and just push out to the side. So you can see I'm again focusing on my back staying nice and still. If the pressure on the wrists is a little bit too much, you can take up to knuckles with this as you're pushing out with the knee. You just want to do 10. It's a little sideways kick. It's not ladylike, but we sort of think of this as if we're a dog cocking our leg to pee. It's a good way to kind of think about what you're doing, lifting it out to the side. And then 10 on the other side as well. So keeping that pressure through the hands, either against the knuckles or down into the wrists. And doing 10 little sideways kicks. Couple more. Good job. Now, lastly, we're going to go back to our Superman pose, but this time I'm going to get you to hold it for me. Now, again, it can just be the leg or it can be the leg and the arm. Now, in holding the Superman, last exercise for the class is just a circle of the leg. So think about pulling your tummy muscles in, be strong through your supporting arm, relax the shoulders. I want us to do 5 circles one way and then 5 circles back the other. That rolling motion through the hip makes it a lot harder to balance our back. So pull through your tummy muscles, think long, not high, and just circling that leg around. One on the other side, reaching the arm and leg, go round through your circle for me, looking straight down at your mat. Again, hand can go grounded if it's a bit hard holding the arm up as well. And so in just 5 circles, nice straight leg. And then return. To finish it all off and take the pressure off of our shoulders, just sink down with your bottom to your heels and reaching your arms out nice and far in front of our body. Head resting on the mat, and just take all that pressure out of your shoulders, out of your lower back, and just enjoy a gentle child pose for me. We're only going to hold for the count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job, everybody. So today's workout, again, they're not long. I'm trying to basically make them short and sweet, easy for you to stop and find the time to do at home. Give you some variations for things if it's a bit hard or a bit easy, but just some little workouts we can do together. Any feedback would be great. If you've got specific things you want me to do exercise workout videos for, I'm really open to any suggestions. And of course, we're doing things that don't involve equipment at the moment. Some equipment stuff is still to come. Thanks guys. Stay safe. Hope you're well. I'll see you again soon.